and I got married and divorced and married and divorced, and and none of that impacted my career and my livelihood and the fact that I live and breathe my passion every single day. We have come a long way to the generation that some of you are here today who know much more than Twitters. I only know how to send tweets, but I don't know more than that. So, to a generation who sees women, who are seeing women running for political offices and presidents all over the world. You know more about technology than I do, and some of you here maybe. I have someone who says they are BC and AC before computer and after computer. So we have generations who are much more, who have seen so much more. We have moved from a time where most women had no inheritance rights, no legal protection against abuse, no political representation, and definitely very limited career opportunities, to a time where these things are expected as basic rights. And that's thanks, and big thanks really, to women who have worked tirelessly before us to make that women's rights as human rights and to break barriers to get us where we are today. We have come a long, long time in where women were and where we are today. And I think we actually need to take a moment to acknowledge, to pause, to learn, to process of where we have come from, where we are today. How can we appreciate those who have led us to where we are today? And how do we learn to move forward in the future? For we have come a long time. But there is a distance to go. There's a big distance to go. If this is a mountain, I think we are halfway in the middle of the mountain. Accomplish a lot, but yet to go and see the peak. Women are still the marginalized majority. Women are still 51% of the population, yet we own less than 2% of the land. And we are only 18% of political representation in the world. 1 out of 3 women worldwide still gets abused in any shape or form, from domestic violence to rape. 22% of African girls still have HIV. There are women in Afghanistan and Iraq and many parts of the world, girls who are not able to go to school. And trafficking against women and girls is still the second largest illegal industry after drugs, I believe. But we know that. And in particularly today, because I think many of you are women's studies, we know all of that, and we have been talking about that for a long, long time. I think we need to shift that dynamic. How do we acknowledge where we are today, and how do we move forward in the future? But before we go there, I want to talk about who is we, because every time I talk about we, there's a lot of people. Who is we? I don't think we is only women's rights activists. I think actually we is every single woman who have dedicated her life to the promotion of women and girls, to helping another woman step forward, to paving the path for another woman. That someone could be someone in a corporate world, someone in a law firm, someone in the media, a women's rights organization and a humanitarian organization, a political structure. It does not matter. Someone could be a Zara, an Afghan woman who have run for 2 days and 2 nights to make sure her daughters go to school. Someone could be could be my own mother, who have taken risks to get me out of Iraq so I would not be touched by Saddam Hussein. We is every woman. We are all of us, in my opinion, who have helped lead the way, pave the way to where we are today. And I actually think it's very important that we take that moment to acknowledge we is not the women's rights groups only. We is every single woman who have been conscious about it. And sometimes that journey has been very lonely to her, as it has been to my mother. We is all of us. But where are we? We are, as I said, halfway up the mountains. We have climbed a good height, but we are yet to reach the peak. What is really interesting about today is we have this unbelievable, rare and unique opportunity caused by a time of change and uncertainty brought about by the financial crisis. And in growing up and working in war, I grew up in the Iran-Iraq war, and I work purely with women survivors of war at the moment. I have learned that with every crisis, there is an opportunity. And today, the financial crisis is making people, particularly men in power, pause and question and reassess values and how things should be done. And with this, there is an opportunity. So what do we do? And how do we respond to this opportunity? We have a huge amount to gain from this crisis and period of change. But we need to remember all the incumbents of power who are fearful of what they may lose in these times of changes. We cannot allow ourselves to be marginalized again. We must make ourselves heard. And we do that not by talking to each other, but by talking outward. We must roar together. And I propose that we roar a single message. A message that the world will not achieve full economic growth and stability without women fully contributing economically. Now, this is not an argument about microcredit and women. This is about the efficient usage of resources in economies across the world, and thus the full inclusion of women in all aspects of the economy and decision-making, mega and small, decision makers and workers, boardrooms and factories, presidents and receptionists. It doesn't matter. This is about women's full contribution to the macroeconomic policies, strategies, and execution. We are now getting objective data from Japan to Latin America to Cameroon and the rest of Africa that says the most efficient ways for countries to achieve economic growth is to fully free up their women to contribute to the economy. And this data is not just coming from us. It is coming from organizations whose primary focus is financial gains, not equality and justice for women or marginalized people in this world. So why? Why am I, a woman who has focused all her life and efforts on raising awareness about the plight of women in war zones and helping women rebuild their lives, suddenly proposing this theme focusing on full economic citizenship in and beyond this economic crisis? Do I believe that this is more important than stopping violence against women, or ensuring every girl goes to school, or providing full health services for every mother so women are not dying needlessly in their prime of their life? No. I do not believe that. But I do believe it is the best way to gain traction and attention that makes decisions